Hi, gardening friends. We are here in my very well neglected garden. Probably about 2 years since we have stepped out here and done anything. We moved out here, I think it was in 2023, sorry, 2023 we moved out here. And the previous owner had done a little bit of planting. I think they planted some things up just specifically for selling the home. And we just kind of left it at that. Gardening was definitely not at the top of my list, despite my therapist telling me otherwise. So here we are, several years later, trying to take care of this garden. I really want to make a beautiful suburban sanctuary out of this. And I really think it has some good bones. You're going to see a lot of garbage and stuff that needs to be disposed of, things that need to be cleaned, and a lot of things that need to be planted and taken care of. But I'm really excited about this. And I thought I would bring you guys along for the journey. Why not? Maybe some of you are in the same situation where you feel like you've neglected your garden for many months or, like me, many years. And it's going to take a lot of dedication and love of gardening and joy to get through it all. And why not make a few friends along the way? It definitely has a lot of work to be done. So here we go. I'm going to take you on the day one tour of our realistic suburban garden. Okay, so here's what we're starting with. We have these adorable olive shrubs that I'm definitely not getting rid of, but we do have a few, as you'll see here, that need to be taken care of. We have one over here has a lot of weeds that have grown up and started to overcome it. So we're going to have to give it some special love and attention. But the others are not looking so bad. We do have a gardener that comes in and does, the mow, the blow, the trims occasionally. So he has tried to keep us in relatively good shape. Love him. This poor little garden here. This garden bed was created by the previous homeowner. I am not a succulent sort of person. As you can see, they've been neglected, but they continue to grow. And oh, look at that, a nice big weed. They're really pretty red and orange blooms, but it only gets a few flowers each year. It's probably needing some attention or to be moved or torn out. Same thing with this grass. I do think some of the neighborhood pets come along and use it, but there is some signs of growth still there. So maybe if we cut this back, we'll see something nice come in. This just popped up. It came from somewhere. It came from a neighbor. I'll have to look that one up and see what that one is, but we do have some ivy that I did not plant that needs to be taken out. It came from somewhere else as well. It gets these beautiful red and orange leaves in the fall. It's just amazing. Looks like a big fireball up there. But it's definitely one of the last ones to bloom in our neighborhood. As you can see, some of our neighbors' trees are already going strong. They've bloomed and leaved out. Let's take you into the garden a little further. The heavenly bamboo has been doing relatively well. The boxwoods are nice and they're filling in. They were newly planted when we first got here, but they're the kind that smells really bad. And so I have to figure out if we're going to keep these ones, maybe because they are further away from the door and they're filling out. We just trim them up, but get the ones out that are closer to the door. But we have this palm, the boxwoods, the heavenly bamboo, and it's just repeated through the whole garden. And then we have these really cute perennials as well. hate the lava rock, so we'll definitely need to get rid of that at some point. This bed definitely needs the most attention. We have some grass, which is actually looking kind of nice. I think Oscar came in and trimmed that for me, but we need to pull out the weeds. This thing just takes over. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this. I'm not thrilled with it, but it does bring some greenery to the bed. But as you can see, it is drowning out the little purple grass that's in there. Some more blue grass trying to pop up. But yeah, this vining plant just takes over. So we may be removing that. But here are the boxwoods that are just my nemesis. Every time we come out here, they smell like the cat did their business over here. Not thrilled about it, but it is a nice little bed to do something different with. Maybe we transplant them to a different area where we don't have to smell them. But I'd love to put a window box under each of these and also under these ones. And what I would eventually want to do is do a nice vining plant that goes in between the windows and maybe around them. I think that'll look gorgeous. Here we are. This is the front of our soon-to-be suburban sanctuary. This has been really a storage area up until now. We have a lot of cardboard that we've been saving, thinking we would use it for the weeding of the garden beds. We have this huge cherry or plum tree that grows over our neighbor's fence. We try to keep it trimmed back because the birds and the squirrels love the fruit, and then they drop it on the sidewalk, and the dogs try to eat it, which is not good. Got the hose running right now, and as you can see, it leaks, so we have to figure out a new setup for that. So we have a beautiful opportunity to put some nice hedges, maybe some sky pencil to kind of mask out some of the neighborhood sounds, to mask out the neighboring trees that we don't really like so much. On the side yard, we're going to do some arbor or trellis treatment that goes kind of up and over. That kind of gives a little bit of shade in this area, but then is draped in some star jasmine. So now we're into the full backyard. Planters that were left by the previous owner that have just, some of them have seen their better days. This one is gorgeous, so we're gonna have to wash that one out and make some good use of that. They also had this shed in here. I think I've stepped into this shed maybe twice since we've had it. Maybe now that we're doing some more gardening, we'll make better use of it, but I do think eventually we're gonna replace that with a nice greenhouse. We have a lot of fence. As you can see, there's a lot of fencing. Definitely want to continue maybe some sky pencil hedgeway here. And then across the back, I've been going back and forth between deciding on a full evergreen hedge or planting a number of evergreen and deciduous trees across this back fence. It's a lot of lawn that only gets use from the dogs. We have currently blocked it off to help it regrow because it was starting to see a lot of patches. We do see some of the patches have come in, but we do need to reseed part of it. But before I reseed, I want to decide what we're going to do because I do want to put in some winding pathways and some nice garden beds, maybe a nice fountain in there. And then that other cement pad will eventually be, I think that's going to be in a hot tub area or a sauna area. We'll see what we can get for our money. I'm going to show you this back area. Please don't judge. Again, it has been neglected for many years. But we have a nice setup of windows and a screen door, another big window that looks into our living room, and a big garden bed that's on the patio. This patio, by the way, is raised. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but there is a bed on top of the patio, which is really nice. I don't know how deep the soil goes or what's beneath it, because again, this was all put in by the previous owners, but the lavender and this other bush, which I do not know the name of. Maybe I'll look that up and put it on the screen. But these two have really just taken over this entire garden bed. We have a fountain that the previous owner left as well. It's broken. It doesn't work. Maybe we can recycle it into a bird feeder of some sort, but definitely want another window planter, some more trellis work. We did hang up these little lights, which are helpful in the evening hours. Oh, by the way, this is Honey. Hi, Honey. Say hello. And then this is Liberty. Hi, Liberty. They're both golden retrievers. We love them to pieces. Liberty is much older. Honey is about a year and a half, but they love each other. These pots are what we're going to be taking care of today. I bought some really pretty annuals. I think there's a couple of perennials in there as well, but we're going to plant these up with those newly purchased items. But just a quick look. Again, this is just a temporary blockade for the dogs to keep them off the grass. This is the cement pad I was talking about that was put in by the previous owner, I think, because there's electric work and some piping, some water piping here. I think they wanted to put a hot tub in, I think. I'm not really sure. But it does give us a lot of opportunity to decide what we want to do here. I had this garden bed they created, which has just been cut back every couple of months by Oscar. He comes in and trims that all back for me also. But there is a nice shape to the garden beds that are coming down this fence line. They didn't plant anything in here, I don't think. There might have been a few things. Actually, now that I remember, they might have had just planted a couple of little things in here. There's irrigation, but the irrigation wasn't working, so they died relatively quick. So this patio, and maybe I'll take you guys down here. This patio has a nice ramp that I believe was put in to get their mowers down here. I'm not really sure why they chose a ramp on this side and then stairs on the other side. But as now you can see, raised quite a bit off of the grass area. Definitely needs some pressure washing, some attention to the cracks, but there's nice drainage already installed. Okay, we had a minor interruption, dog digging in the garden and using it. So that is why we have it blocked off, because she can't seem to stop digging in the grass. But once we get some of this grass removed, I'm hoping that becomes not such a big problem. It does have spots where it gets really wet and then really dry. Like I believe this area gets drier than that side, which kind of leads me to think that it's maybe slanted. Maybe this, no, slanted this way for some reason. We have some interesting lamps that are here that have seen their better days. And of course, the fencing across the whole patio needs to be repainted or repaired or replaced. Old barbecue that needs to be given away or junked. I just planted these. Maybe I'll post the video of that later, but this is our Trader Joe's olive trees. They're very cute. Some of the annuals that I was purchasing from our local garden, Fair Oaks Boulevard Nursery. Shout out to them. Very cute nursery in the neighborhood. So that's what we got.